I've hit a wall, and I just given up. Like I don't care if I grow or not.
As you guys know, a lot of Secular Talk fans have really been talking about a lot of his sub count and his channel recession. He is losing subscribers and his view counts are also tanking. They're getting down to a pretty bad point. It's to the point where it's not even like his growth has stopped. His channel is actually receding, so it's going backwards, which really is not good. But, depending on the perspective you look at, maybe it's not such a big deal. But up until now, we hadn't really seen like necessarily a super direct response from Kyle about what's going on with the subscriber count. But he had a pretty personal live stream on his buddy, his best friend Corin's channel. Shout out Corin on Corin's World. It's a pretty personal one. They're actually talking a little bit about me here, right before the answer about people making videos with his names in the title. And so what you're going to see here in this clip is he's going to actually explain the situation, and what he's actually going to say about his channel actually tells us a lot about, his take and the different things, because up until now, because we hadn't seen really a direct response from Kyle about his channel, it kind of made it so that we don't really know exactly what's going on. But from this video clip that you're going to see, he's going to explain, what his thoughts are about his channel and what exactly is going on. So go ahead and check it out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I see it as like a sign of
look,
respect
if they're
that
putting
they
my
know
name in
people.
there and they are getting views, then God bless. Tell me how to get more views for my own shit, because I've hit a wall, and I just given up. Like I don't care if I grow or not. I'm just going to keep doing my shit, and whatever happens, happens. So I guess you drive yourself crazy. If you get obsessed with metrics, you will drive yourself crazy.
And at the end of the day, I mean, like, fucking 900,000. There's mad people that you've impacted.
That's the perspective of it. The perspective of it is like, I already have way more than I ever thought I would get in my life in terms of YouTube subscribers. So let me just shut up.
Yeah, I think
who cares if there's no more growth? There's already 970,000 fucking people.
Yeah, I think that's so awesome.
Like, I had a lifetime goal of 100,000 subscribers when I started.
So as you can see there, Kyle is making a pretty multifaceted response to what's going on with this subscriber count. You can see from this, Social Blade, he's down 1,000 subscribers in the last 30 days, which is actually, I guess, a boost for him. I guess actually a positive trajectory for him. He's also down below 7 million views in the last 30 days, which is actually really bad. That's down 8%. Those numbers are really bad. The Rational National only posts like one video a day, I think, 2 at max, and he's at like 4.9 million. Kyle usually posts, I think, like 2 or 3 a day. Although I don't think he does that every day, because I think he just records videos like 2 days a week and then just puts them out over time. And so you can see even Social Blade, according to their predictions on the right here, it says that it's predicted that he'll be at 969,000 by around tomorrow. So we'll see if that trajectory and equation actually ends up panning out from Social Blade. But what things can we get from here, right? We can get that he actually is acknowledging that his channel is in trouble. There's a lot of people who say, oh, it's not a big deal. His channel receding is not a big deal. He has 970,000 subscribers. He's doing his thing. He doesn't care. But what you can tell is he really does care. He cares about what's going on. He cares that his channel is really receding here. And so it's not a situation where it's just simply, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not a thing. Or we definitely know that he knows at least that his channel is receding, and he definitely cares about it. So it's not something where he's like, oh, it's whatever. It's not a big deal. Everyone's just trying to make a big deal. So it is an issue that he actually cares about, which is something that we didn't really know until now. Now, honestly, I think he's lying to himself when he says that he doesn't care anymore. What he's saying he's quitting here is he's saying he's quitting caring about the numbers of his channel. That's what he's saying there. But I actually think he's just lying to himself. When you'll be like, I don't care about that, or I don't care about what he said, or I don't care about that happening, but really you do care, and you're just trying to convince yourself that you don't. That's what it seems like to me. And honestly, I mean, that's evidence just by what he's doing. Like, for example, right? Check this out. I mean, he announced in the same live stream that he's actually going to be altering. You guys know one of the big things that people have been really complaining about, rightfully so, is that he's still putting his show live streamed out on this like 2008 website called Blog Talk Radio. It's basically like listening to a podcast in a microwave from like the Soviet Union in like the 60s. It's really horrible. You can't even skip forward in the video or in the audio clip. So, he's finally announced that he's changing that. So we can see that he's trying to make changes. And it's not like he hasn't made changes. In fact, a lot of the changes he's made, I'm really surprised. He started using the YouTube community tab. I don't know if he does this in every video, but I remember seeing some of his videos where he was actually, at the end of his video, he has a little plug clip where he says, make sure to subscribe to the channel and check out the Crystal Kyle and Friends podcast. I never thought I'd see Kyle from Secular Talk do that. So he has attempted to make some changes. Obviously, he really revamped his really horrifyingly bad thumbnails. So he's definitely made some changes. It's not like he hasn't made any changes. So he definitely knows there's an issue going on. Now, what is the issue going on with his channel, with his sub count? Obviously, figuring out why his sub count is going down is a big deal. It's honestly a really good question, because I honestly have the question as to whether or not did the quality of Secular Talk videos go down? Because I don't really think they did. The only thing you could say is the videos are coming out too late, which is a big quality issue. I think that the biggest issue for his channel, I don't even think the platform thing is really all that big of a deal, although it will be a big deal for your core fans, which it's important to have like strong supporters. It doesn't seem like Kyle really has that many strong supporters anymore, and that's why a lot of people watch videos about this stuff, because they're strong supporters of his who have really turned away from him. So they're pissed that he's still live streaming on Blog Talk instead of Twitch or something like that. But for him, it's just when you upload videos 3 to 5 days later after the news, you're not a news channel anymore. You're more of a historical analyst. You're more analyzing history than covering news. News you got to cover somewhat quickly, at least a little bit, and he just doesn't do it. And so because of that, you're not really doing news. People don't like that. People want it to be quick. That's his biggest issue. And honestly, he seems to blame it on YouTube. I don't think it's really YouTube. I think it's self-incurred damage mostly. I think obviously YouTube is throttling independent media, no doubt about that. They're prioritizing in the algorithm, established media sources like CNN and whatnot, no doubt. But the biggest thing for him is certainly the fact that he is just he is not uploading videos on time. The videos he uploads are just way too late. And so there's no algorithm pushing for a video about something a Fox News host said 5 days after he said it. The algorithm is simply not going to push it. And I just believe that it's an empirical statement that the quicker he gets to news videos, the more views he will get. Generally speaking. And so you can see that on his video where he quickly gets out talking about the Texas Uvalde situation or the Russia situation where he gets hundreds of thousands, where otherwise it would have got less views because he would have reported 3 to 5 days later. So that's his biggest issue. But honestly, I think a big issue is he seems to be losing a lot of his core fans, and I think that's just because of his content getting stale for them. If you watch Kyle for over like 2 years, Kyle makes content that's very easily digestible for the average person, and I think that's why he's so popular. But it's like, after you've watched Kyle for a couple of years, how many times can you really hear him say that infrastructure gets a grade of D-, or that half of the country's workers make less than $30,000 a year, or that we support 67% of the world's dictatorships? There's only so many times you can hear that to the point where you want to start talking about, what are the negative aspects of a tariff, or really talking about the details of free trade, or, talking about maybe, different legal aspects and precedent or stare decisis or these different things where you really get into the real stuff about things and the real details. We're talking about what shifts the demand curve and what situations you want to stimulate the economy. We saw Dave Rubin saying that giving tax cuts to people will bring down prices, when what we know is that tax cuts to the average person, when they have a high marginal propensity to consume, that actually stimulates the economy, bringing prices up, not down. So, talking about something like that instead of just saying, oh, Dave Rubin is stupid, doesn't know what he's talking about. I think it just gets boring for people. And so I think a lot of this is just his content just getting stale for people. And so he's just going to do his thing. And how much of the issue is really his content, or if it's just people getting tired of his content, I think a lot of the issue is people getting tired of his content. But also the biggest issue for him growth-wise is he just covers everything so late. And so again, you can look at the video views on videos where he drops really quickly on the Uvalde situation or Russia, and it gets 100,000, 150, 200,000 views. Those are videos that are going to get pushed in the algorithm. No, the algorithm won't push a video talking about something Brett Bayer said 5 days ago or a week ago. the algorithm's not going to push that because people don't want to watch that shit. And so the way the algorithm works is the more people want to watch a video, the more they're going to push it. So if you put out a video right away when the Russia invasion happens, people are going to watch that. The algorithm is going to push that. And so he's really, I think, doing it mostly to himself. I don't really think it's really that much the algorithm. Obviously, the algorithm impacts for sure, no doubt. It's throttling, but he's really harming himself a lot. Where David Dole and Jimmy George and all these guys are growing, and his channel is really receding, and his view numbers are dying off. I think those are really the main reasons as to what's going on for him. But he says he's not going to try to change it. So even though there's evidence that he is actually trying to change it with the whole blog talk radio thing and stuff like that, so. What is he actually going to do? I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of options you could do, like, streaming on Twitch. And he also obviously lost a lot of allies. So a lot of the collaboration power dies. TYT and Jimmy George connections were obviously a very powerful thing for growth. Doesn't have that anymore. So he's kind of screwed unless he decides that he's going to start doing it. Another thing I think his supply lines are just really stretched with the Crystal Kyle and friends. I think you could really see a correlation that I think may warrant a causal link. A human being can only do so much, can only read so much, can only work so much. There's a lot of information to consume, like just reading about this Putin story where he's, comparing himself to Peter the Great. Then I have to read like half an hour to an hour about Peter the Great to really be able to comment on the story. And I knew nothing about Peter the Great, spent half an hour reading, and now I learned, he's the first, Russian emperor. It's late 1600s, and he modernized Russia from being a very backwards country, feudal country, and now it's having all these different Western European things, and it became really powerful, and it was able to defeat the Kingdom of Sweden, which is very powerful. Blah blah blah. It's like there's only so much. It's like one story. There's one story. Think about how much reading you have to do. All this stuff. There's a lot that goes into this stuff. You have to read about, what is a rational basis test? What is strict scrutiny? What is this stuff? And so it's a lot you have to do of reading. To have to do Crystal Kyle and friends in your own show. So it's a lot. So unless he really starts making videos soon, like if he doesn't start making videos quickly on news videos, his channel is just going to continue on its pace or stay stagnant. And if he doesn't expand to other platforms like Twitch and stuff like that, he's definitely not going to be able to retain his core fandom. But also, I think a lot of his core fandom is just going to leave him because, honestly, like I said, his content just gets really stale. And so because of that, I just feel like a lot of his fans are just going to leave. But that's what he's saying. He says he's going to quit paying attention to his numbers. Is he actually going to do this? I don't know. But this appears to be the first time we've seen him comment publicly about his channel receding. And so, adapt or die is kind of the saying in business. At the end of this is business. And so you have to start changing things. And we know Kyle doesn't like that. But let me know your thoughts on all this stuff down below. Definitely curious to hear them.